Oh, my testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my main camera. Are you real live? And as you guys can tell by title and thumbnail, today I'm going to be working with more asyncio, await slash async in advanced Python or in Python in general. And this is the day 11 for my AI engineering for 365 days series, where my goal by the end of this series will be to make an agentic AI. That said, let's move on to my gameplay screen. There we go. Okay, and now actually this is a brand new chat, so let me say something like, let's say I'm live. And yeah, guys, I did not come prepared for the stream here. Let's go with something like live exclamation. There we go. And while Claude is really replying, I'm going to go ahead and grab my Visual Studio Code up here. There we go. And if you guys do realize this program, it is from last stream. I do gotta do a little bit of warm-ups, but I will be completing the remaining 10 questions this stream, which spans from question 21 all the way to question 30, depending on or like based on let's see, based on whether there are like new topics or not. That said, a new concept before question 21, guys. We're starting off with a brand new topic. What the hell? Okay, let me just go ahead and grab that there. There we go. Okay, you've been firing off tasks with gather like there is no tomorrow, but in the real world, especially in AI engineering, you can't just blast off 50 API calls simultaneously. You'll get rate limits throttled or even banned. I see. A semaphore is a gatekeeper. It says only this many tasks can run once everyone else waits. I see. Okay, so we create. Oh, so this is something like the hue that I worked with yesterday. Like hue equals to, let's say, async io dot priority hue or async io dot hue. Okay, max 3 tasks at a time. Async is defined controlled underscore task, which requires ID as a parameter. Async with semaphore. Excuse me, guys. Blocks here if there are already running. Okay. Await. And hold on, guys. Give me a quick little second. Maybe I'm gonna go here and then let me just go ahead and say something like say I am back here from I'm back here for a bit because I forgot to ask you for the notes from my stream. I just ended it. Can you make me notes for the contents that we covered? Question mark. There we go. Okay, and you guys might be thinking, what are these notes for? These are basically for me to add it on my actual .md file. Okay, good. You remember notes are part of the. Excuse me, guys. Okay, good. Notes are part of the process. Don't skip it. Blah blah blah. Okay. Should I wait for the notes to generate, or while they're generating, I'll move on to something else? I think I might move on to something else. Right. All right, because these two prompts look literally the same. Speaking of which, let's see. New concept, how it works. Semaphore with a parameter of n. Okay, number of tasks. Creates a lock that allows n concurrent holders. Async with semaphore. Wow. Acquires a slot. Releases it automatically when done. Task beyond the limit. Wait until a task beyond the limit. Wait until a slot opens up. This is how you rate real-time LLM API calls in phase 6. Learn it now. Okay. Task, you're hitting an AI image generator API that allows 3 concurrent requests. You have 10 images to generate. Requirements, create a generate underscore image, which requires 2 parameters, image underscore ID and a semaphore. Coroutine, so we create a coroutine function, okay, creates 3, each call takes 2 seconds to generate, I see. Use async io dot semaphore, which caps the concurrency at 3. Print when each generation starts and finishes. Launch all 10 tasks using the gather method. Print total time taken at the end, yada yada, all images. Okay, so we will be working with the time module as well. Hence, async io.semaphore goes in main, passed into each coroutine, okay? Async with semaphore, wraps your sleep plus prints the coroutine, use time.time. Before and after gather to measure total time, okay? Without the semaphore, 10 tasks multiplied by 2 seconds would overlap into 2 seconds total. Guys, and what's wrong with you? Why can't I read today? That said, oh wow, we got our notes. Hold on a damn minute. Oh, there are a lot of notes. Okay, that's something nice. I like this. I'm gonna go ahead and copy that. And then let's just go ahead and open my async io dot. Wow, why do I? Okay, there we go. This is my await file. I will be pasting this here. Okay, perfect. Common mistakes. Wow, this task. Okay, that was kind of awesome. Okay, that said, I'm gonna go ahead and open my async ios.py file now. While that is open, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say grab my Claude to the other window as well, just so I can use it as a reference. I'm gonna get Claude there. Let's go ahead and open my chat so I can see the instructions there. Then I'm gonna exit that. I'm gonna exit that. Zoom in. Okay, I guess perfect. There we go. Question 21. You're hitting an AI image generation API that only allows 3 concurrent requests. You have 10 images to generate. Requirements: create a generate underscore images coroutine. Okay, let's do that. There we go. So firstly, I'm going to delete everything. And since I am working with async IO, I'm going to go ahead and import async IO. And then let's go ahead and create a coroutine function. Therefore, I'm going to go with something like async define generate underscore image. That requires 2 parameters now. My image ID and my semaphore. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a colon. Now, each task takes 2 seconds to generate. So each task takes 2 seconds. Expected output. Generating image started. Generating image 2 started. Generating image 3 started. Image 1 done. Generating image 4. Image 2 done. Generating image 5. The hell? Okay, so we need 10 images, right? So firstly, I'm going to also import the time module because I will be using it. Okay, now each task takes 2 seconds. Okay, so I'm gonna use the for loop to actually generate those images. So I'm gonna go with something like for every index in range. Let's go with 1 through 11 because there are 10 images. I'm gonna go ahead and do something. I'm gonna go ahead and print something like generating generating. Whoops, my bad, guys. Firstly, it's so annoying that the thing just pops up. Let this be an F string. Generating image, a pair of curly braces. I'm gonna go with something like I dot dot dot, and then we're gonna go with started. Oh god, there we go. Okay, so this is basically gonna generate 1 through 10 images using this text. And then image 1. Okay, so after this, I'm gonna go with async io.sleep. I want to sleep for 2 seconds and then print. Let's say something like image. What the hell? There we go. I'm gonna say image index done. Okay, perfect. And then it goes so on and so forth. Next up, image 2 done, greeting image 5, yada yada. Okay, your rook looks like a prison maka. Your room, guys, room looks like a prison is kind of crazy. Let me actually go to my main camera. There we go, guys. It actually does look kind of cozy. I have a nice little punching bag down here, and I purposely keep it a bit clean so it's all organized. Everything is shoved inside of that closet, which I will never open. Okay, guys, prison, our room is kind of crazy. That's it. Let's move on to my gameplay screen. Okay, now, in my gameplay screen, order may vary. Concurrency is real. All 10 images generated. Okay. Now, wait, that's it? Oh, wait, never mind. Use async IO's semaphore to cap concurrency at 3. Print when each generation starts and finishes. Launch all tasks using gather, print total time taken at the end. Okay, so goes in the main function passed into as a coroutine. You know what? I think it's we're done with our coroutine function for our generate image. Therefore, I'm gonna generate one for my main function. Now, inside my main function, passed into each coroutine, okay, async with with semaphore wraps your sleep plus prints inside the coroutine. Okay, so oh wait, what am I? Hold on, guys. I just realized I was reading it all by myself. I can show you guys while I'm actually kind of confused reading. Okay, let's go. Oh wait, no mind. These are my notes. Let's go to the chat right here. There we go. Okay, so this is what I was reading. So it says each call takes 2 seconds to generate. I did that stuff. Then use async IO's semaphore method to cap concurrency at 3. Okay, print when each generation starts and finishes. Print when each generation starts and finishes. Launch all 10 as tasks using gather. Okay, print total time taken at the end. Okay, so async IO semaphore goes in the main function passed into each coroutine. Okay, and then async with semaphore wraps your sleep plus prints inside the coroutine. Okay, one step at a time, guys. So apparently we got to go ahead and create a semaphore that is going to be equal to my async IO's semaphore method, which is going to be, let's say, something like 3. Is that correct? I might use into lessons real quick. Semaphore, there we go. Whoa, gotta remove the whore from here. Okay, perfect. And now let's go with something like generate underscore image, but this does go using our gather, right? Okay, let's read the instructions again. Okay, we're done with that. Async with oh, we're using async with semaphore. I forgot these syntaxes here. So we go with something like define control task, async with semaphore. Wraps your sleep prints inside the coroutine. Okay, wraps your sleep and prints inside the coroutine. While. Okay, I'm sort of confused. And this is not any kind of logical confusion. This is basically syntactual. Okay, so here's the thing. We have semaphore equals to async io dot semaphore, and this is define control. Since it goes in my main function, async with semaphore await async io dot sleep 1. I mean, I don't think I'll need this here. Then let's remove this from here. Okay, let's go with something like async with semaphore. Okay, so async with semaphore, and then what's the next step? Let's grep plot up here again. So async with semaphore, I want it to sleep. So let's go with await async io dot sleep. I want to sleep for 2 seconds, and then we print image number item done. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and paste this here. Okay, and you guys might be like, where am I going to get an I from? I've thought that. I'm going to go with item and set that equal to my generate image. Or maybe my await generate image dot the catch method. Wait, I'm pretty sure I could use the dot get method, right? Generate image dot get. This requires two parameters, an image ID and a semaphore. You know what? I think this goes there. Oh god, this is so tricky. You know what? You know what? You know what? I want to get familiar with these syntaxes real quick. Gonna grab Claude up here and let's paste it and say this is not a logic confusion. It's just a syntactual confusion. I am not familiar with the semaphore syntaxes. There we go. Okay, let's see it. And I guess while Claude is replying, I'm eating a mango. Okay, good. You know you're confused. That's honest. I respect that. Let me help you fix it right now. Your syntax confusion. Let's kill it. Okay, you made two mistakes. Both are syntax slash structure, not logic. Mistake one: the for loop is in the wrong place. This does not belong here. Generate underscore image is one job for one image. The loop that creates 10 of them lives in the main function. So correct coroutine, okay, should be you do that, you await, you do that. The loop goes in here. So task equals to generate underscore image I semaphore. So we're using a conditional expression. For I in range 1 through 11, this is going to be I, and that is going to be my semaphore. And then await asyncio dot gather asterisk task. Why are we representing tasks as pointer? Mistake 2, semaphore belongs inside the coroutine, not the main function. Semaphore belongs inside the coroutine, not the main function. So we do async with semaphore, await. This is not where the gate goes. Async define generate underscore image, async with semaphore, print generate image, image ID, yada yada. Okay. Okay, so the full structure is going to be this. So we generate image, async with semaphore, print generating image ID, async await, print image, okay. All right, I think that the instructions was not that clear. Let's go with that clear. Uh, that said, I had a question. I've okay, so why are we using a list comprehension for the for loop and not a regular comprehension like we use a pair of square brackets and not just go um, I for every index in range 1 through 11 dot dot dot. Okay, and then my second question, let's go with something like second question is that why did we use an asterisk, okay, before the task? I am assuming that it represents a pointer. Okay, and then let's set it. Guys, there are a bajillion typos here. That said, great questions. Both have clean answers. Question 1, list comprehension versus regular for loop. They do the same thing. List comprehension is just shorter. So regular for loop, task equals to a pair of square brackets. For I in range, task.append, yada yada. List comprehension, identical, results in one line. Okay, why does it need to be a list? Both gives you a list of 10 coroutines. Also, we're trying to get 10 coroutines. Oh yeah, of course, it does make sense. Pick whichever is clear right now. Okay. I think list comprehension. Question 2. The asterisk is not a pointer. Not C, not memory. Forget pointers. In Python, asterisk means unpack this list into individual arguments. Async io.gather expects coroutines passed in one by one like this. Hi bro, do you remember me? Actually, I do remember you. It's been so long. How are you doing, Nikhil? That's it. Await async io.gather, task 1, task 2, task 3, individual arguments, but you have a list, so you unpack it. Await async io.gather, task. Same as saying await async.gather, task at index of 0, task at index of 1, task at index of 2. Oh, think of asterisks as explode this list into separate pieces. Oh, okay, okay, I see. Why you left game dev? Guys, I actually never left game dev. I was done with the series because initially my previous series was programming for 250 days, where my goal by the end of that series was to make a game in general that consisted of AI logic in it. I was done with that series like about 12ish, actually not 12. Today is day 11. 11 minus 7, 11 plus 7 is 18. I was done with that series 18 days ago. Then I had a 7 days long V-Line series, and now I'm in a AI engineering for 365 days series, where my goal by the end of this series is, whatchamacallit, is to make an agentic AI. The reason I didn't really push for another game development series is because later on I realized that I didn't really enjoy game dev as much. I just enjoyed the AI logic in that. But then here was the thing: game AI is totally different from generative AI. I enjoyed the concept of generative AI as opposed to game AI, so I thought to give generative AI a try as well. That said, you have zero excuses. Go write 21 from scratch. Okay. That said, let's see. Okay, so question 1, we have list comprehension. There we go. Okay, so apparently I may actually use it as a reference here. The code from there. Okay, so firstly we go with async with semaphore. There we go. So async with semaphore. I'm gonna go ahead and print. So generating images. Okay, let's go with. There we go. Let's go with an F string. I'm gonna say generating generating image with a prof curly braces that is going to be having image ID as a parameter. Then I'm going to go with dot 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 started. Okay, perfect. Next up, once we're done with this, we're going to go ahead and wait and pause for 2 seconds. So I'm going to go with async io.sleep. Let's say I want to sleep for 2 seconds. And then we're going to go ahead and print another F string that says image underscore ID. Let's say done. Guys, I hate that thing that just keeps popping up. Okay, so apparently this is what we actually do inside of our coroutine function. One image and one image only. Next up, inside of our main function, we go ahead and create a semaphore that limits our concurrencies to 3 at a time. And then we go with something like async with semaphore. Oh wait, okay, so we go task. We create a list of tasks. So I'm going to go with task equals to, for every index in range, let's go with 1 through 11. I want to go ahead and do something. I want to generate my generate, my generate underscore images function or coroutine function that requires image ID as a parameter, which is going to be I, and semaphore, which is going to be my semaphore. Okay. Async with semaphore. I need to learn more about this though. Okay, that said, I create a task here. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, Pano? Appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, and then let's go with something like await async io.sleep. My bad. Dot gather. I want to gather all my tasks together. Because apparently let's go with the plural tasks. Okay, the reason I went with asterisk, unlike C++, in Python, asterisk is basically for unpacking. My list has a bunch of tasks in it. The asterisk here is going to help me unpack those tasks as opposed to typing task at index of 0, task at index of 1, etc., etc. Okay, fire them all. Okay, apparently that's pretty much it. Now, we're going to go with if dunder name equals to dunder main. I want to go ahead and run my main function through my async IO. Okay, let's go with Control S, Control Alt, and generating image 1, 2, 3. Image 1, 2, 3 done. Generating image 4, 5, 6. Image 4, 5, 6 done. Generating image 10. Image 10 done. Okay, let's go ahead and copy that. Let me get a wrap plot up here real quick. Exit that, zoom out, and let's paste it. Let's say something like done exclamation. However, I have another question. What does the async with semaphore do in my generate underscore images coroutine function? There we go, and then let's send it. Okay, and then do I got like a chopstick or something? My lips is getting way too dehydrated. Well, I mean, I'm not taking the W here because I did actually use the code as a reference, but what does the async with semaphore actually do? Think of it as a room with 3 seats. Async with semaphore, print generate image ID started. Here's exactly what happens step by step. Async with semaphore tries to enter the room. If fewer than 3 tasks are inside, walk straight in. If 3 tasks are already inside, waits at the door. When a task finishes and exits, the next waiting task gets a seat. The async with block automatically releases when the seat is done. You still need time to print total duration. Okay, wait, what was the actual output that I needed? All 10 images generated in X time. Oh, I see, I see, I see, I see, I see. Okay, so we have our time module, right? So I'm gonna go with something like start underscore time equals to time dot time. And then let's go with something like ent underscore time. All 10 images are done. I think ent time should be here, right? Okay, let's think. If I were to use let's see, the time dot times method, where would the time actually be at? So we have an async sys generate image here, okay? Where does the processing actually happen? Generate image is where the processing happens. Main function is where the processing executes. Therefore, I think that my time module or my time.time method should be in my generate image. I want to start my time there. Okay, start.time equals to time.time. And then I want to go ahead and add a end time when everything is over and that I've exited my for loop. End time equals to my time dot time, my current time, minus my start underscore time. There we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and let's say print. Those are all my tasks. You know what? Let's go ahead and print. I'm gonna print something like all 10 images generated in xxx seconds. Let's go with something like an f string. All 10 images generated in end underscore time seconds. Okay, and this is going to be colon dot 2f. Okay, and then let's go with Control S, Control Alt N, generating 1, 2, 3. Okay, so line 23, an error occurred. Colon dot 2f. Okay, let's just try end time. Oh shoot, did I have the wrong spelling? Start. Oh, that's a freaking method. Why the hell did I actually get this as a method? Hold on. My bad, guys. Image 1 in 2 seconds and 4 seconds and 6 seconds and 8.4 seconds. But I want to go ahead and I know we need to add like an if statement. If that is my semaphore. Start time, end time. Okay, I mean it does sort of work, but I need to add an if statement, maybe to check a none or something like that. Let me go ahead and paste this and say I mean, it does work at the end. However, it does tell me how many seconds has been passed every 3 image generated. I am pretty sure that I need to do an if statement check to see whether my task is empty or not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I need to do that stuff. Okay, close, but no if statement is needed. The problem is simpler than that. Your time inside the coroutine, so every single task prints its own time. You need to time the whole operation that lives in the main function. The wrong time, the correct time. Wait, we basically wrap our gather? That's it? Okay, I guess let's give it a try. So before our gather executes, oh wait, it does make sense. Okay, and then when our gather is done executing, we paste that. Okay, so our time starts there, our time ends here. Okay, and then while it's generating, I'm gonna go ahead and eat a mango. Did he leave game dev? Actually, guys, the game dev series, I mean, the game me working on like game development was basically just a part of my series. It was called like programming for 250 days. I am actually working on making a programming for 250 days review montage. I have a whole playlist with like about 6 parts in it. A couple more videos left. That said, there my goal was to make a game with AI logic. I was done with that. If you guys do want to check that game out, the link is going to be in one of my, or like in the third latest post. So if you guys go to my channel's post and scroll down until you guys don't find the post number 3, that's where my games link is actually going to be. That said, you know what? I think that's too tedious. I might just add that stuff on stream right now. Let me just go to something like itch.io real quick, and then let's go here. Okay, you know what? While I'm at it, I'll also show it to you guys. Let me grab my cloud here. Cause yesterday, someone asked me the exact same question. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this here. Then let's move on to the post. In the post, if you guys go to the 4th post, there we go. This is the ending of my 250-day series where I was done making the game within 231 days. And you guys can get access to the post if you guys click the link up here. Okay, and I'm just gonna go ahead and copy that. For the time being, this is all the copyright notice and you guys can download it here and all that basic stuff. For the time being, I will be pasting, you know what? Rather, instead of the link, guys, give me a sec. I'll just add it to my Nightbot so it can like easily do it for you guys. We go to something like Nightbot. And in Nightbot, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say extend this stuff. Hold on, give me a sec, guys. I actually want to check if it can actually work on stream as well. I'm gonna go with a new command. Let's go with Calamity2. And then this is gonna be the link. And then let's go ahead and create. Okay, now guys, here's the moment of truth. Let's see if it really works. I'm gonna exit that. Let me try to paste something like hashtag Calamity2. Then let's go with something like hashtag Calamity2. Oh wow, it does work, guys. I never knew it. You guys can just click that and download the game through that stuff. There we go. Oh wow, that was a much easier way. Okay, speaking of which, now once I'm done with this, I'm just gonna go ahead and copy this part and let's quickly move on to the next question. I'm gonna go ahead and paste it here and say done. Okay, perfect. And then let's just go ahead and send it. Let's see. Okay, that's it. That's the one. Clean, great, professional, blah, blah, blah. Image 1 generated for all the way to 10. Ready. All right, guys, we got a few more questions. 37 minutes for one question is a bad progress. Okay, and then let's go with thinking. Okay, new concept. Wow, we're going with another concept already. I'm not even done with my semaphores here. What the hell? Excuse me, guys. A semaphore controls how many tasks run at once. An event is different. It's a signal flag between coroutines. One coroutine sets the flag. Other waits for it before they proceed. Event equals to async io.event. Async define waiter. Print waiting for signal. Await event dot wait. Blocks here until flag is set. Signals print signal received. Async define setter. We're using accessors and mutators here. Async.sleep event.set. 3 methods, that's it. Wait, set, clear. Wait, pause until flag is set. Flip the flag. Okay, set is flip the flag. Release everyone waiting. Dot clear, reset the flag back. Wait, set, and we didn't use clear here. Question 22, pipeline start gate. Task, you're running a data pipeline. A data underscore loader takes 3 seconds to load data. 3 processor workers must wait until loading is complete before they start. Use an async io.event as the start gate requirements. Create a data. Okay, wait, let me say something like I am not familiar with the semaphore yet. Therefore, can we work on that a bit more and then move on to the event question mark? Okay, and then let's send it. Let's see. Smart call. Semaphore API rate limiter task. You're calling a weather API that only allows 2 concurrent requests. You have 8 cities to fetch. Weather for some requests takes longer than the others. Requirements create a fetch underscore weather which requires 3 parameters: city, duration, and semaphore. It should be a coroutine function. Each call takes duration seconds to complete. Use async IO's semaphore method with the concurrency or to cap the concurrency at 2. And then print when each fetch starts and finishes. Use this exact city duration list in the main function. Cities: New York, London, Tokyo, Paris, Sydney, Dubai, Berlin, and Toronto, as I pronounced it. Print total time at the end. Expected output, fetching weather for New York started. Fetching weather for London started. New York, done in 1 second. Fetching weather for Tokyo started. Tokyo, done for 2 seconds. Fetching weather for Paris started. Yada yada. Hence, same structure as question 21. Semaphore is a main function. Async with semaphore wraps everything inside the fetch weather, builds your task using list comprehension over cities. Unpack the tuple instead inside the comprehension. Okay. All right, I guess let's do it. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this in the other window. Let's zoom in. There we go. Okay, now let's just skim over all this real quick. Let's delete. Now, firstly, I'm gonna go ahead and start off by importing async IO since I will be using it. And then let's create a coroutine function called fetch underscore weather that requires 3 parameters: city, duration, and semaphore. Okay, and now each call takes duration seconds to complete. Each call takes duration seconds to complete. Okay, each call takes duration seconds to complete, right? Got it. Print total time at the end. So we will be using the time module. Okay, before the time module, let's go ahead and just work with this part. Fetching weather for New York. I'm gonna go ahead and print an S string that says fetching weather for New York dot 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 has started. Okay, and then New York done in 1 second. Await async io.sleep. I'm gonna go ahead and sleep for duration seconds. Okay, and then fetching weather for Tokyo, fetching weather for Paris, fetching weather for all those different stuffs. Next up, we're gonna go with async define main function that will not require any parameters. However, we're gonna go ahead and read the instructions. Use async IO's semaphore to gap concurrency at 2. So semaphore equals to async IO dot what was the method name? Semaphore is going to be 2. Caps concurrency at 2. Okay, to cap concurrency at 2, and then prints when each fetch starts and finishes. Prints when each fetch starts and finishes. Print when each fetch starts and finishes. Use this exact city duration in main. Okay, I guess. Let's go with something like cities equals to a list, which is going to be having a bunch of tuples. The first tuple is going to be New York. Okay, where the duration is going to be 1 second. And then we're going to go with something like London, where the duration is going to be, let's say, 3 seconds. Okay, and then we're going to go with Tokyo, which, okay, whose duration is going to be 2 seconds. And then let's go with something like Paris. Okay, where the duration is going to be 1 second. And then we're going to go with something like Sydney. Okay, where the duration is going to be 4 seconds. And second or third, lastly, let's go with Dubai, where the duration is going to be 2 seconds. And then we're going to go with something like Berlin, where the duration is going to be 1 second. And lastly, let's go with Toronto, where the duration is going to be 3 seconds. Okay, perfect. And then, wait, this plural, guys, is not city, it's cities. Okay, hi bro, do you remember me? I'm following you since January and coming almost daily to your lives. It actually sounds really cool. Wish I could write Python this well. Honestly, guys, I wouldn't say it's that hard, to be honest. I was like, what you would call it? I thought the same exact thing when I actually watched people write really like I when I watched people program really efficiently. Then later I came to realize after writing it that it's not as hard as it looks, to be honest. It's basically as long as you get enough practice and understand the syntaxes and the logic, it's honestly pretty easy. Then you just got to work on problem solving. Next up, we use the async IO as a semaphore to cap concurrencies. Print when each fetch starts and finishes. This is where the time module comes in. Okay, so we're firstly going to go with something like start underscore time is going to be equal to my time.time. And then we're going to go with something like await async io.gather. I want to go ahead and gather my cities. I'm going to use let's see. I may want to use a list comprehension here for my individual city. Therefore, I may go with something like city equals to for every index in my cities. Well, for every index in my cities, I want to go ahead and return myself a city and a duration. Okay, this is sort of okay. Wait, I want to unpack stuff, right? So let's go with city and duration. For every city in cities, I'm gonna go ahead and return I, which is my city and my duration. For every I and N. Actually, let's go with C and D. For every city and duration, want to go with city and duration. Okay, we can't do that, right? Okay, then I'll just go with the I for I. Okay, now we're gonna go with copying this, adding that under my city and duration because this is gonna be my start time. And then under that, I'm gonna go with something like my await async io.gather. Here's the thing, I could like unpack it, but then let me think. I can potentially unpack it just using my regular city. Oh, you know what? You know what? This is where we start debugging stuff. Let's print. Print my city and let's print my duration. There we go. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go with if dunder name equals to let's say dunder main. I want to go ahead and run my main function through my async ios is run method. There we go. Okay, now let's see. So it says invalid syntax. Of course. Yeah, I forgot a comma. There. Okay, value errors. Too many values to unpack. Expected 2. Too many values to unpack. Expected 2. Maybe because I didn't really call my fetch weather here. You know what's good? Async io dot gather. I want to go ahead and gather my fetch weather. So it's function that requires city as a parameter, duration as a parameter, and my freaking semaphore as a parameter. There we go. Okay, perfect. And then I'm just going to go ahead and eat a mango. I'm still, before I run the code, I'm still thinking that I need to unpack. Too many values to unpack. There we go. I need to use an asterisk. Maybe we just go with I. Then there's not going to be a duration. For every index, cities at index of 0, we go with city. And then for every duration, equals to I for every index in cities at index of 1. Okay, so type error is less than or equal to not supported between lists and integers. Line 7, fetch weather. When did I ever use less than? Type error. Less than or equal to not supported between instances. If delay is less than or equal to 0. That is weather. Okay, then we go with fetches and a 4. You know what? Let's go with control C. Sorry, I messed up. I still. Oh, wait. Async with semaphore. Then we do this. At least I gave it a nice little shot. Let me go up here and then let's just go ahead and paste this and say, I messed up. Okay, and then we're gonna send it. Now, let me maybe go ahead and eat another mango. Oops, I just dropped it. No. Making a mess. Hold on, guys. Gotta get napkins here. There we go. Okay, can be making a mess out here. Okay, that's it. Good that you caught it by yourself. Let me show you exactly where it broke. Mistake 1, hard-coded city name. Fetching weather. Okay. Those are the things that I'm going to fix later on. Wrong. This just unpacks one tuple, not what you want. Tasks equals to fetch city. Alright. Task equals to fetch weather, city, for every duration in. Missing in await. Alright, that was my bad. Okay, I got it. So instead of these two lines, we're gonna go with task. That is gonna be equal to, I'm gonna go with my list comprehension and add my fetch weather that requires a parameter of city. Let's do it the genuine way. I'm gonna go with for every city and duration in cities. I want to go ahead and get my fetch underscore weather. Okay, and then I'm going to use into lessons. There we go. I'm going to have a city here, and I'm going to have a duration here, and I'm going to have a semaphore. There we go. And then when I gather stuff, all we're going to have to do is gather our task using the unpacking operator, and we're going to wait gather. Okay, and then we're going to hit Control S, Control Alt N, fetching weather for New York started, London started, Paris started, Sydney started, Dubai started, Berlin started, Toronto started. All that done. Okay, now here's the thing. The output does require, I gotta specify how long did it take to be done. So we have a start time and we're gonna go ahead and have an end time. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and copy my start time, and let's get it all the way up here inside this. Fetching weather, this is gonna be my start time. And then I'm gonna have an end underscore time, which is gonna be equal to my start, my time dot time, my current time, minus my start underscore time. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and say something like print an f string, which is gonna say something like city done. City done. And then we're gonna go ahead and write both curly braces or parentheses, curly braces. This is gonna be end underscore time. Seconds. Okay, let's hit control. Let's control alt N. Syntax header, time.time equals to start underscore time. Cannot assign to a function. Oh my gosh, guys, this was about to be minus. Syntactual errors. New York done and yada yada seconds, and that much seconds, that much seconds. That's those many seconds. I'm gonna go with colon dot 0f dot 0f. Fetching weather for New York, 1 second, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, done, 2 seconds, 4 seconds. Then Toronto, done in 3 seconds, nice. Okay, and then I will not need time.time here because we're not giving the end time. All cities done in those many seconds, so we do need a start time here. Start time equals to time.time. And then we're gonna go ahead and add a end underscore time, which is gonna be equal to my time.time minus my start underscore time. And then I'm gonna print an f string that is gonna go ahead and say something like all 8 cities fetched in. This is gonna be my seconds, so my end underscore time colon dot 2f seconds. Control S, Control Alt N. We go with 1 second. We go with 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 1 second, and then it's 2 seconds, 4 seconds, 1 second. Toronto is done in 3 seconds. All cities fetched in 10.5 seconds. Nice. Let's go with Control A, Control C. Let's copy that stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and grab plot up here, paste it, and say done. Now here's a thing with my done. I do leave my async with semaphore. Okay, and then I go with my regular program. Okay, let's go clean, correct, shipped. 2 semaphore questions back to back. You know exactly how it works. What you've locked in. Semaphore in main. Pass it down to coroutines. Async with semaphore. All the gates inside the coroutine. Tuple unpacking. Okay, one tiny thing before I move on. Just a typo. I mean, do you think 2 questions is enough? And also, how many more topics are left to be covered in the semaphore? Actually, in the async IOs is section. Because we went with gather, we went with sleep, we went with create tasks, we went with semaphores, we went over async, we went over coroutine functions, we went over the module itself, and let's see what else. This was a pretty big topic. Honestly, 2 questions is enough. You got it wrong once, fixed it and nailed it. That's the pattern. Drilling the same concept 5 times just waste your 365 days. Okay, so we have ace, we have event, we have lock, we have as completed. 3 topics left, roughly 6 questions at 2 per topic, putting you around question 20 and then 2 questions, combining everything for a final async IO challenge. That's 30 clean finish. Why these 3 matter for AI engineering? Event, coordinating pipeline stages, data loaders, signals, workers to stat. Lock, preventing race conditions when multiple agents write to the same resource as underscore completed, processing LLM responses as they arrive instead of waiting for all of them. You'll use this constantly in phase 6. These aren't fillers. Every single one shows up in real agentic systems. Ready to hit async IO.event? Yes. Ready. With a bunch of exclamations, or with a couple of exclamations, literally. Then I'm gonna go ahead and eat them and go. Make sure I don't. Okay, new concept. Async IO.event. A semaphore controls how many tasks run at once. An event is different. An event is different. It's a signal flag between coroutines. One coroutine set flag, other waits for it before proceeding. Event equals to async IO.event. Async define awaiter. Print awaiting for signal. Await event.wait. Okay. Signal received. Moving on. Async define setter. Await async.sleep. Event.set. 3 methods. That's it. Event.wait. Event.set. Event.clear. Question 23. Pipeline start. Okay, so that's a gate. You're running a data pipeline. A data underscore loader takes 3 seconds to load. 3 processor workers must wait until loading is complete before they start. Requirements: data underscore loader, which has event as a parameter. 3 seconds to load, then sets the event. Processor worker underscore ID, okay, which requires processor work ID and event. Waits for event, then takes 1 second to process. Launch one loader plus 3 processors simultaneously with the gather method. Prints when loading starts, finishes, and when each processor starts and finishes. Data loader starting, processing 1, 2, 3. Data loader done, releasing processor, yada yada. Okay, you know what? I'll give it a try, even though I think I'm not gonna be as fluent in the syntaxes. There. Okay, I'll give it a try. I'll give it a try. You're running a data pipeline, a data loader that takes 3 seconds to load data. 3 processors. Workers must wait until loading is complete before they start. Okay, so firstly, let me go ahead and import async IO since I will be using async IO. And then you're running a data pipeline. A data loader takes 3 seconds. So we're gonna create an async coroutine function called data underscore loader that requires 2 parameters. Well, my bad. Requires 1 parameter called event. 3 seconds to load, then sets the event. 3 seconds to load, then sets the event. 3 seconds to load. Okay, let's data loader starting, waiting for data, waiting for data, waiting for data, data loader done, releasing processor. Processing 1, 2, 3, processing 3 finished. Data loader calls events.set after its sleep. Might see the reference, so we have okay. Let me grab Claudia. Hold on a damn minute. Okay, let me say something like, all right, I tried the question. and absolutely could not trace the syntaxes. Can I get a reference to study first and then we can work on a similar question mark? Okay, and then let's just go ahead and send the send the message. Then I might eat a mango. Okay, no problem. Study this, then we go. Async dot event full reference. Event equals to async dot event. Always in main, passed into coroutine. Okay, and then the three methods. The wait blocks until the flag is set, flips the flag, releases all riders instantly. Clear resets flag back to unset. Okay, full working example, import async IO loader. We go with something like loader starting, async IO.sleep 3 seconds, loader done. Set, flip the flag. What does the flip the flag even mean here? What does flip the flag mean? Okay, and then we go with something like async define worker ID, and event. Print worker ID, waiting, await, event.wait, print worker ID, got signal working, await, async IO.sleep. Nice to see you. Nice to see you too, RKG. Okay, let's see. So print worker ID finished, and then async define. Okay, look, it makes sense, but why do we flip the flag here? I need to ask that. What happens step by step? T equals to 0 seconds, loader starts working, all events hit. Key rules, setters. Okay. I actually did not understand. What does flipping the flag mean? What does the flag even mean? Huh. Guys, we'll have to work with a lot of practice questions here, I can tell. Okay, good catch. I use jargon without explaining it. What even is jargon? Guys, I guess I'm getting a lot of gibberish to read this stream. A flag is just a yes slash no. Okay, I do know the Boolean flags, but I thought it was something different. Flag is just a yes slash no switch. Forget code for a second. Think of a traffic light at a construction site. A worker stands there with a stop sign, car pile up and waits. When the road is clear, the worker flips it to go. Every car waiting moves at once. That's it. That's an event. Stop equals to event is unset. Everything hitting await. Event.wait is frozen. Go equals to event.set. Everyone frozen gets released instantly. In code terms, event equals to async IO.event. This creates the sign. Default position is stop. Await event.wait. This means I'm a car. I'll wait here until the sign says go. This creates the sign. Okay. This waits. Event.set means I'm the worker flipping the sign to the. Oh. Every waiting quarantine unfreezes instantly. So it's basically like a flag check. Event creates an entire event, and then the wait is basically, let's say, the worker, the example that Claude gave, it's gonna wait until our set does not really change the sign or flip the flag. Once the flag is no longer false and it's true, I am allowed to go. I can be unfreezed, else I will be freezed. And then the event.clear, this means flipping it back to stop. New waiters will freeze again. My old changes to the flag, which converted my false to true, my red light to green light is going to be flipped back to red light again. Everything is going to be reset. Flip the flag, adjust means unset, set, stop to go. Everyone waiting, release everyone waiting, set to unset, go to stop. Clear. I understood it in theory. Now I just need some practical practice. Therefore, can you give me an instructional based question with the instructions really clear? Okay. Later I will be working with vague instructions if I do want to get a bit like work on a bit more complex problems and I have a better understanding. Excuse me, guys. Question 23, the starting gun scenario. You're running in a race. Three runners are at the starting line. They cannot move until the referee fires the starting gun. The referee takes 3 seconds to get ready the moment he fires. All three runners go at the same time. Your job, write two coroutines. Coroutine 1, referee, event. Print referee getting ready. Wait 3 seconds. Print referee bang. Set the event, which is going to go ahead and flip the sign. Coroutine 2, runner, which requires name and event as the parameter. Print name at the starting line, waiting. Wait for the event. Print name, running. Wait for 2 seconds. Print name, finished. Then in our main function, create the event, launch referee, plus 3 runners named Alice, Bob, Charlie. Then we use the gather, expected output, referee getting ready, Alice at the starting line waiting, Bob at the starting line waiting, Charlie at the starting line waiting. Referee bang, Alice running, Bob running, Charlie running, Alice finished, Bob finished, Charlie finished. Oh wow. Event equals to asyncio.event in main. Referee calls set. No await needed on that line. Runners call await, event.wait. This one does mean pass event into every coroutine. All right. Okay, guys, I guess let's go on with it. The instructions couldn't possibly get any clearer. Oh shoot, let me go all the way down to my... Oh. Okay, there we go. For some reason, everything just glitched off. Wait, am I still streaming? Okay, nice. And what is wrong with my webcam? How long has it been radioactive for? Let me decrease this. There we go, much better. I'm gonna hit apply, okay. Now let's read the instructions. So firstly, we're gonna go ahead and let's say import our asyncio. And then I'm gonna go ahead and create a coroutine function called referee that requires event as a parameter. And now inside my event, I'm gonna go ahead and print referee getting ready. Okay, let's print referee getting ready. Oops. Referee getting ready. And then we wait for 3 seconds. I'm gonna go with await asyncio.sleep. Waits for 3 seconds. Okay, and then we print referee bang. Okay, let's go with bang. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just copy my text in here because I don't really have access to this emoji. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and set our event. So I'm gonna go with something like, I forgot the syntaxes to set it. Event.set. Okay. We're gonna go with event.set, lowercase. This flips our false to true. Everyone can go ahead and move on now. Next up, we're going to create our second coroutine function called runner. which is going to be requiring name as a parameter and event as a parameter. Okay, and then inside our runner, I'm going to go ahead and print something like an f string that says my name, okay, at the start line waiting. Okay, and then we go with dot dot dot. And then we wait for the event. So we're gonna go with await event.wait. I am waiting for me to get a signal from my set. Once I get a signal, I'm gonna go ahead and run. And then we print something like an f string, our name is running. Okay, perfect. And then we're gonna wait for 2 seconds again. So async IO dot, actually not just async IO, I'm gonna go with await async IO dot sleep 2 seconds. And then we're gonna print name finished. Let's go ahead and print an f string that says name finished. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and create our final main coroutine function, okay, which is gonna go ahead and let's see, it's gonna go ahead and create an event. So I'm gonna go with event equals to my async IO dot event. Is that how we actually create our event? I knew it. I so called it. I knew it's supposed to be uppercase. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and call our event or create an event, launch referee, plus 3 runners named Alice, Bob, and Charlie. Launch. You know what? Use gather. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like await async IO dot gather. I want to go ahead and gather my runner, where my first runner's name is going to be Alice, who is going to go ahead and have an event parameter. My second runner's name is going to be Bob, who is going to be having an event as a parameter as well. And my third runner is going to be called Charlie, who is again going to be having event as a parameter. Once we're done with that, I'm going to go ahead and add an if statement to check if dunder name equals to dunder main through my async IOs is or that one's so perfect, through my async IOs is run method. I'm going to go ahead and call my main function, and then let's run it. Alice at the start line, Bob, Charlie waiting. My bad, guys, they're going to be waiting forever. I forgot to get my freaking referee in here. It's like, where is the green flag for the referee, guys? We're going to copy this. Then first things that's going to be running is our referee. Now, referee getting ready. They're all waiting. Referee bang. They're all running. Charlie running. Alice running. Bob running. Okay. And then Alice finished. Bob finished. Charlie finished. Nice. You know what? I'm starting to get how this thing works. Even though the instruction is as clear as it gets. Let's say, even though the instructions was as clear as it gets, I feel like I am starting to understand this. But of course, I am still a beginner, therefore I do need a lot more practice. And also, I'm ready for the next question, which can have a bit less detailed instruction. I hope I don't regret this. Let's send it. Perfect code, perfect output. You got it first try. That's growth. That's basically the power of clear instructions. Like if I understand what to do, I can do it. But then most of the time, the syntaxes are like the phrasing that Claude uses. I don't understand it. Maybe because I don't really have much experience with it. Okay, question 24. Server boot gate. Yo, hiding pixel, appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, question 24. Server boot gate. Scenario. A server takes 4 seconds to boot. A database takes 2 seconds to connect. 3 servers, API, cache, and logger, can start until both servers and databases are ready. Requirements. Boot underscore server that requires event as a parameter. 4 seconds then sets the event. Connect database. 2 seconds then sets the event. Start service. Name, server event, server database, waits for both events, then takes 1 second to start. Services API, cache logger, launch everything with one gather. Expected outputs, yada yada. Okay, I guess let's get it. For the first time, I think it may be because I'm warmed up right now, the instructions didn't feel that hard. Let's see if it actually doesn't feel that hard when I'm writing it. Okay, let me start off by importing asyncio. And then we're gonna go ahead and create an async coroutine function, or just a coroutine function in general, called boot underscore server that requires event as a parameter. Now inside my function, I'm gonna go ahead and 4 seconds then set the event. 4 seconds then set server booting. So we're gonna go ahead and print something like server booting. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and say database connecting, but after our 4 seconds. Therefore, I'm gonna go with await asyncio dot sleep. Let's sleep for 4 seconds. And then we're gonna go ahead and flip our sign. So event dot set. Then set the event. This flips our flag. Now everything else, all the coroutines that have been waiting for my server to boot are able to move on. Next up, connect database. Did you bring a tasty fruit for today's stream? Actually, yeah. How'd you know I got mangoes? Been eating mangoes. Hold on, guys. Let me just move on to my gameplay. Actually, my main camera. There we go. Guys, we got a nice little mango. You guys can have a bite. There we go. Okay, I guess I'll eat it for y'all. Okay, so let's go with something like async define, and I'm going to grab the instructions back up here. Whoops, not up here. Instructions up in my other window. That is going to go ahead and be called connect underscore database. Okay, which is going to go ahead and have event as a parameter. Now, for my events, I'm going to go ahead and print database connecting. So let's go with something like database says it's connecting. Okay, perfect. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and wait for 2 seconds. Therefore, I'm going to go with await asyncio.sleep. I want to sleep for 2 seconds. Okay, then sets the event. I'm going to go with event.set. Next up, start underscore server. So we need another async function or coroutine function called start underscore service. Now, here's the thing. Our start underscore service requires our server event and database event as a parameter. So without my server being booted and my connect, CONNECT. So without these two actually happening, this can't execute. Okay, so I may go with something like name, and then let's go with server underscore event and database underscore event. There we go. Waits for both events, then takes 1 second to start. Waits for both events. So we're gonna go with something like I don't really have an event parameter. Waits for both events. See, do you know how to create send a text input to database? Actually, I haven't tried that yet, but I'm pretty sure that may be in my roadmap, so I may work on it then. Waits for both events, then takes 1 second. Services API cache logger. Okay, I don't understand the second half of the question. How can I wait without calling my event? So I would require an event parameter, right? Or is this supposed to be my database's event? I have two freaking events here. Which event am I waiting for? You know what? You know what? Server event. I'm assuming that's boot. So let's go with server event.wait. And then we're going to go with database underscore event dot wait. After that, I'm going to go ahead and await my async IO dot sleep. We're going to sleep for 1 second. Waits for both events and takes 1 second to start. Services API cache logger launch everything with one gather. API cache logger. Okay, now that's pretty much it. Let's go with something like async. Async says define. I'm going to go with something like main coroutine function, which is, let's say, going to go ahead and have, bro, make fundamentals strong. If you don't know how to create HTML input and store it in database, then why are you learning these? Actually, to make the fundamentals strong, only I'm working on a roadmap, because my roadmap does start from like basics type stuff. That said, async is define main. Okay. Services, API cache logger, then launch everything. Then launch everything. So I'm assuming I'm going to create event equals to my async IO dot event. I create an event in my main function, and then we're going to go ahead and await my async IO dot gather, where I'm going to go ahead and gather all my functions. For example, the first function is going to be my boot server. I want to go ahead and boot my server. That requires event as a parameter. And then I'm going to go ahead and call my connect database. Okay, that requires, let's say, my event as a parameter as well. Okay, lastly, I require server event and database. I mean, the parameters here are confusing. I know that I can go with something like name. I mean, name could be something like API. I wrote APT. Now, what about the other two parameters? What is, can I use this here? This is going to be event. And I'm going to go ahead and add connect database here, which is going to be having event. This is the way that I actually look at, I actually think about it. It may not be as accurate. Okay, I guess let's see. What's the worst that can happen, guys? The worst is I'm just gonna mess it up. That said, we're gonna go with start services again. That requires another parameter of name. Bro, I am an AI engineer. I'm working on building agents. This sounds so cool, guys. I actually want to be an AI engineer as well. So let's go with CACHE. That said, in the AI engineering field, what do you mostly work with, and what do you think is like the hardest to do there? Okay, let's go with something like boot underscore server that requires event as a parameter, and then connect database that requires event as a parameter as well. There we go. Okay, and just to save some time, I should have done this from the very beginning. I'm going to copy that. Then we're going to paste this here. Oh god, this is so tedious. There. Event. So we have API, we have cache, and we have logger. Okay, perfect. Launch everything using gather. I did do that. Now let's go with something like if dunger name equals to dunger main. Then I'm gonna go ahead and run my main function through my async IOs, this run method. Of course, I had to spell it wrong. I'm 2 months into the industry, so basically currently I'm building SQL agents. That is actually, it's funny to hear that. Hold up, let me run this real quick. Okay, we get an error, that's fine. I'm gonna check that up in a bit. Speaking of which, if I were to go to my desktop here and then I were to go ahead and move on to my engineering roadmap, surprisingly, I mean not surprisingly, I do have SQL coming up in my what you call it, in my roadmap as well. I need to see where it's somewhere here. I'm pretty sure it's relatively sooner. There we go. So later on, I will be working with SQL in my roadmap. But before that, there are different things that I need to start working with. For the time being, I am on my phase one, which is basically I gotta work with advanced Pythons. I'm currently in async IO and async slash awaits this pattern. Next up, I'm going to work with typins and Pydantic for data validation. And lastly, virtual environments and dependency managements for my advanced Python section. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to move on to Git and GitHub, Linux, and all that stuff, and then data structures and algorithms, arrays, trees, big O notations, data wranglings. You guys get the gist of it. So eventually, if I do need the topic, which is HTML inputs and all that stuff, if I do really need it, it is eventually going to be coming up in my roadmap. But I'm following it, what you may call it, from the start to end because I just don't want to barge in and like miss the topics above it. Eventually, I will be going over all that stuff. That said, I'm going to go with Control A, Control C, copy that. Let's go ahead and grab Claude here. You can just search Google on SQL. You can just search Google on SQL agents. I could do that, but I want to follow a roadmap. Like if I follow a roadmap, then I know exactly the skills I have. And with these skills that I've built, I'm going to be working on the next topic, which requires those prerequisite skills that I am currently learning. That's, let me say, I feel like I messed up. And guys, I do want to do the mistake that I did for my programming for 250-day series. I just rushed over different let's say concepts. Like I had a mini series of C++ in it, which of course I needed. But then I started working with SDL and then Unreal Engine and all those basic stuffs in the middle. That said, speaking of that, I also worked with Blender, voice acting, and let's say drawing for that series as well. There was a lot going on in those mini span of 250 days. That said, you did mess up, but only three things. Let me show you exactly where. Mistake one, missing an await on event. Okay, mistake two, only event you need two. Only one event you need two, so server event, database event. Mistake three, passing coroutines instead of start service. Wrong, so we go with something like boot server, boot database. Also missing your print statements. That's fine, I can fix that. Have you heard of CLI agents? Actually, I have heard of it, but I didn't really work about it. CLI agents is a topic inside of my inside of my roadmap. That's it. Do you like have an AI engineering bachelor's or something like that? Okay, because I was planning to get a bachelor's in AI engineering. That's it. Let's see. Let's see. So this is going to be server underscore event. Okay, and then this is going to be database underscore event, which is going to be equal to my async io.event. Okay, let's see. And then we're going to go ahead and before calling our CLIs, we're going to boot our server first. So I'm going to go ahead and let's say boot my server. That requires a parameter of my server event. Oh God, this thing is so annoying. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and let's say connect our database. That requires our database underscore events. Then I'm going to go ahead and add a comma. And now for my boot server, I'm going to go with my server event. server event, server event. And for my connect database, I'm gonna go with data. Whoa. I'm gonna go with my database event. Oh God. Database event, and database event. Okay, and then we're missing a few print statements, but I can fix that later on. We need to be good at prompting. Guys, I feel like I'm great at prompting. Okay, no, I'm a CSE bachelor's, computer science. Okay, just curious, just out of pure curiosity, in order to get a job in AI engineering, do you guys not need a bachelor's in AI engineering? Because I thought that we literally need a bachelor's in AI engineering to get a job there. How much time it took for basic Python? Actually, for me, I had like a Python for 100 series where I worked mostly with Pythons, and my goal by the end of that series was to make a game in general that consisted of AI logic in it. However, that's where I learned most of the stuff. Later, I think like last month, I had a Python semester where I was working with basic Python. It was like 4 months long. Although, by God, I did not realize, because in college, when they actually teach you stuff, it's not as detailed because they expect you to learn it yourself. So we could say that it took me 30, 90, let's say 5 months. So 5 months to master basic Python. Okay, that's sad. Let's go ahead and accept that. It actually kind of depends when you need, I mean, whatchamacallit, it really depends. The more time you spend per day working on learning Python, the faster you're going to be done and all that stuff. You don't need a bachelor's in AI. We need to be good. Oh, interesting. I actually thought that we need to get a bachelor's in AI to like get an AI engineering job. That was just my curiosity, actually. Okay. Hmm. Why do? Okay, well, in that case, why do people really have an AI engineering degree? Prompting is not the one you're doing now. Prompting in engineering is different. I see. Actually, I may have a bunch of questions. Which call it? Can you like join the Discord server whenever I have any questions I could ask you? Only if you're free. That said, let's see. I may go here. Let's go with Control C. Let's go ahead and grab plot back up here. Exit that, and let's paste it. Let's see. I feel like I sort of messed up again. There we go. Then let's go ahead and send it. Huh. Okay, I guess we're thinking. You fixed 2 events, good, but you're still making the same 2 mistakes. Mistake 1, still missing a wait. Server event.wait, db event.wait. Oh god, no way. Guys, I literally had that mistake. You know what? I give it to the fact that I wasn't paying much attention here. I was more focused on the conversations. Attribute quarantine object has no attribute wait. Okay, so server event.wait, I'm pretty sure it should. Okay, let's go repload up here again. Da-da-da. There we go. Mistake 2, still passing coroutines. Wrong, you gotta go with server event. Oh, frick. Guys, I can just tell I'm distracted for this. There we go. Guess I gotta lock in a little. Then we're gonna go ahead and copy that. I'm gonna go ahead and paste this here. And I'm gonna go ahead and paste this here. Delete, delete, delete. And add a pair of parentheses. There we go. So one is going to be API, the other is going to be cache. And lastly, the third one is going to be logger. There we go. Okay, and then we hit Control S, Control Alt N. Server booting, database connecting. It waits for 3 seconds. And it just ends. Wow. Learn Python, then learn about LLM, then you can directly jump into RAG, then prompting, then into agents. Actually, I do have that in my in my roadmap as well. For example, it does come later on though. Python basics would be enough. Wait, seriously? But I still want to go through this stuff because there are different things here. Because I'm what people may call like dumber than the average when it comes to learning new concepts. I will be getting a basic gist of these things. Then later on, mm, there we go. So I will be start working with the rags. So there's graph rags and then rag evaluations and then multi-model rags and then okay, and then later on at phase 5 we're going to be working with LLM models. Phase 6 we're going to be working with OpenAI and all this basic stuff. It's not about knowing each syntax, it's about architectural thinking. Hmm. You know what? That actually does make sense, to be honest. I gotta start that. Okay, let's go ahead and add some space here. Now, start service. So I do start my service and I'm missing a few lines here. So we go with something like a wait in our start service. Waiting for server and database. Oh, wait, my bad. No wonder. I did not add any print statements. Let's wait. After my wait is done, okay, 1 second to start. Okay, so we're gonna go with something like a print statement. I'm gonna print an F string. That is gonna go ahead and say something like my name. Excuse me, guys. Waiting for service and database. Waiting for service and database. There we go. Okay, and then once we're done, it's going to say connected. So I'm going to go with a print statement that says an F string name, which is going to be connected to, there we go, connected. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to end that with a period. And you know what? Just for the fun of it, I'm going to go ahead and add an emoji here as well. Okay, perfect. And once we're done with that, hey, good job with your coding. Are you going to use LLMs and cloud AI via BYOK, or are you making your own AI from scratch? How do you plan for the LLM slowness while streaming on CPU? Okay, here's the thing about the end of like, I will definitely be working with LLM models, but by the end of this series, my goal will be to make a game. I mean, not a game. My goal will be to make an agentic AI which could either be, let's say, using LLM models or by building my own AI, depending on my skill level by the end of the series. Because my goal is just to make it agentic AI. If I was able to make an LLM model and I have enough time to learn how to train my own AI from scratch, I will be doing that. But if I couldn't do that, then I'm going to be making it with an LLM model. That said, before any of those, I do gotta actually work on the basics here. So Control S, Control Alt N, server booting, database connecting, API waiting for service. Okay. Interesting. We have API starting, API ready, ready, ready. Okay, so we missed a bunch of lines here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and exit that. We have connected. So waiting for database, we have connected, starting. Okay, wait, you know what? In my server booting, we have that stuff, and then we got connected, right? I think need a okay, you know what? Let's go with control A, control C. I'm gonna grab plot here. I did miss a few print statements, but I think it'll be good. Say I did miss a few print statements. Okay, but maybe there might be a small logic flaw here. Really depends. Okay, structure is perfect. Events are made all correct. Just fix the two things. Too late. Be printed above everything. Prints immediately. Missing print statements in boot, so server booted. Database connected. Okay, so we just got two tiny errors where my name needs to be waiting needs to instantly wait. So I've got to go ahead and instantly wait up here. Okay, and then we're gonna go with something like a print statement that says database. And I hate this pop-up always. There we go. Let's go with database connected, right? Period with a check mark. Okay, I just want to be a little bit more precise. So I'm going to go ahead and paste this. That is a nice little check mark. And then we're going to go up here that says something like my server connected. Server. Okay, and then we're going to go with connected. There we go. Okay, now if we run the program, so server booting, API, blah, 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 database connected, server connected, API connected, nice. Control A, Control C. All right, guys, I think we're done. Let's go ahead and paste it and say done. Oh God, that was, should I say, tedious in a way. I guess we're thinking structure is perfect, logic is perfect, events are locked in, just a few missing typos. I'm not fixing any other typos. Okay, progress check, single event starting gun, 2 events, server boot gate, async IO event is locked in. One more topic before the big combiner async IO.lock. Ready? Ready. Okay, so we're gonna be working with async IO.log, then one more topic, and then the final 2 questions is gonna be a combination from the start of my async IO, what I learned, all the way till the end, what I learned. And then we're gonna be moving on to type hinting. Okay, new concept, async IO.log. You know how semaphores limit how many tasks run at once, right? A lock is a semaphore with a limit of exactly 1. Only one coroutine can hold the lock at a time, everyone else waits. Why do you need this? Imagine 2 agents both writing the same file simultaneously. They corrupt each other's data. A lock forces them to take turns. Lock equals to async IO dot lock. And then we go with, we define a coroutine function that requires agent ID and lock as a parameter. And then we go with async with lock. We print agent ID, async IO.sleep. Is bro awake at 2 a.m. wipe coding? Actually, guys, it's not 2 a.m. for me. It's 3:30 p.m. for me right now. My sun is shining outside. /s. Was that a type of command? It's not about knowing each syntax. That's 2 ways to use it. Way 1, async with recommended auto release. Async with lock. Only one coroutine here at a time. Way 2, manual acquire / release. Await, lock.acquire. Only one coroutine here at a time. Lock.release. One rule, whoever acquires the lock must release it. Async with handles this automatically, just like your context managers from phase 1. Question 25, a bank account. Scenario, a shared bank account has a balance of $1,000. 3 workers simultaneously try to withdraw money. Without a lock, they'll corrupt the balance. With a lock, they take turns safely. Requirements, shared balance variable starting at $1,000. Withdraw requires 3 parameters, a name, an amount, and a lock. Coroutine that waits 1 second to simulate processing, checks if enough balance exists. Withdraw if yes, rejects if no. 3 withdrawals simultaneously, Alice 400, Bob 350, Charlie 500. Use async IO.lock to protect the balance. Launch all 3 with gather. What is this program based on? Just came. Actually, I am working on a series called AI Engineering for 365 Days series, where in this series, I did generate a comprehensive roadmap that I will be following, starting from the phase 1 all the way till phase 9. By the end of the series, my goal will be to make an agentic AI, which could either be me training a model or using LLM to make an agentic AI. Depending on my skill level, for the time being, I am working with async IO, which is basically a, let's say, Python library that gives me access to a bunch of methods. Good luck, I just abandoned mine in favor of C#, but I had LLM browser via HF, Cloud AI, CUE, Context Understanding Engine, Chat, Edit, and Plan mode. Happy to give you advice if needed. That actually sounds really good. Can you actually join my Discord server? That's where I usually ask you guys for help if I do ever need any as well. And that's where you guys can, like, whatchamacallit, Maybe recommend me, let's say, any kind of books, any kind of tutorials, any kind of websites to go ahead and check out. That's that. Hence, balance needs to be accessible inside the coroutine. Use nunlock balance. Da, da, da. Okay, I see. Let's try it. Okay, I'm gonna get the instructions in the other window. And again, this is brand new syntaxes, so gotta get a little familiar with them. It should be almost the same as the event syntaxes. And since I'm going to be working with async.io, I'm going to go ahead and import async.io. And then I got to go ahead and create a balanced variable. Oh, wow. Shared balance variable. It's not a global variable. So we're going to go with async define. Let's go with withdraw. Okay, that requires name as a parameter. And then it requires amount as a parameter and lock as a parameter. Where it waits for 1 second to simulate processing. Okay, so we're gonna go with something like print. Okay, so I'm gonna print something like Alice requesting these many dollars. Alice withdrew those many dollars. Okay, this is just a blind hunch in my side. I'm gonna go with name requesting, and yeah, look at the output so I can get the exact print statements here, just for accuracy. Requesting $400. Okay, dot dot dot. Dollar amount, my bad. There. Okay, and then we're supposed to wait for a second, right? So I'm gonna go with await async io dot sleep. I want to go ahead and sleep for 1 second. Async io. There we go. And then checks if enough balance exists. So I'm gonna be like, if my balance is I guess we're supposed to go ahead and create a balance variable that is going to be equal to 1,000.00. Bro, at 2 a.m., guys, it's not 2 a.m. for me, it's 3:30 p.m. for me. Okay, how long is the stream going to be? Can I stay for a long? I can stay for a long this time because seems fun right now. Honestly, I was gonna go ahead and end the stream, but then since you guys do want to stay here for longer, I could like go on for longer. That said, let's go with something like if withdraw is greater than or equal to my amount, I'm gonna go ahead and let's see print something. Okay, checks if balance exists. If yes, withdraws. If no, rejects. Okay, Charlie requesting. Okay, so if it's greater than or equal to this thing, I'm gonna go ahead and print something like name. My name is gonna go ahead and say something like withdrew. Okay, name withdrew this much amount. Let's go with something like amount. Okay, where from, buddy? Honestly, I'm from abroad. Let's go with something like amount. And then we're gonna go with our current balance is going to be our balance variable, which is gonna be balance. Okay, I may go with :2f. There we go. Okay, perfect. That's actually about it. This is gonna have a $sign here. Okay, and then next up, withdrew this much. And then I'm gonna go with an else clause. My else clause is gonna be having a print statement that says something like print. I'm gonna go with something like name. Okay, and this is gonna be an f string. There we go. And I'm gonna add a parentheses. Okay, by parentheses I meant quotes. Okay, so I'm gonna say something like my name insufficient 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 funds. Okay, so my name has insufficient funds and my balance is, let's say, something like current balance. Let's go with something like the $sign and then balance :2f. Okay, perfect. And then later on, once we're done with that stuff, three withdraws simultaneously. Alice, Bob, and Charlie use async IO's lock to protect the balance. You know what? I think I may go with something like with or async with lock. This is only gonna be this is what you call it. It's gonna limit my concurrencies to exactly one. Unlike our async dot, I think it was like Shamaphore, which could go ahead and let us process as many times as we said we should be able to process. Lock only lets us process one item at a time. Hello, what roadmap are you following? Have you shared it somewhere? Actually, yeah, if you guys do want to get access to my roadmap, make sure to join my Discord server and either go to the coding helps chat or the Python's chat and mention my name there asking me for the roadmap. I will be personally DMing it to you guys. You guys can get access to my roadmap by typing exclamation Discord on chat through the link in the description or through my bio. Actually, I could go ahead and type it. There we go. Then I might type it in the vertical stream as well. Okay, let's go with this card. And now we should give it like a quick little second and it's going to just pop up. Speaking of which, 3 withdraws simultaneously. So we're pretty much done with this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and create my main coroutine function next, which is going to go ahead and firstly have a lock. So I'm going to set my lock equal to my async io dot the lock method. Okay, now in my lock method, I'm gonna launch all 3 with gather. So we're gonna await my async io.gather, where I want to go ahead and gather 3 withdrawals at the same time. So withdraw requires a name, where my name is going to be Alice. Alice wants to withdraw $400. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and withdraw again. The next person that wants to withdraw is Bob. Bob wants to withdraw $350. Okay. And lastly, we're going to go ahead and withdraw one more time for Charlie. Charlie, on the other hand, wants to withdraw $500. Oh yeah, we're going broke after this. Because our balance is just $1,000, guys. Then we're going to go with something like lock. Then we're going to add lock. Yeah, I forgot to add those parameters. God, it's so tedious. There. Okay, so we got withdraw, withdraw, withdraw. Why do I have a there? Okay, perfect. And then once we're done with this, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go with something like if dunger name equals to dunger main. Is that like a hyphen? Okay, if dunger name equals to dunger main, through my async IO's run method, I want to go ahead and run my main function. And then let's run the program. Alice requesting $400. Alice withdrew $400. Balance is 1,000. Bob requesting $350. Bob withdrew $350. Balance 1,000. My bad, guys. I forgot to subtract my balance. Hold on a damn minute. My bad, guys. With lock, so whenever you withdraw something, you want to go ahead and make sure to subtract. If balance is greater than or equal to amount, I'm going to go with something like balance minus equals to amount. Control S, Control Alt N. Are you using actual database for this current program also? Actually, I don't really think that I'm using an actual database. I am using like Visual Studio Code. That said, balance is 600. 350, balance is 650. 500, balance is 500. How does that make any sense? Did I mess my math up? Maybe because it's inside of an if statement. We might paste it here. Control S, Control Alt N, requesting 400, 600, 650, 500. Okay, I messed my math up here. One small error, everything else was flawless, I think. Then we're gonna go ahead and paste it here and say, I feel like I made a small mistake with my calculations. I don't know if I really want to send this because I know where the issue might be. I may need to subtract it inside my main function. Maybe inside or maybe not. Okay, good to see. You cut some things off. You have three mistakes. Always I got three mistakes. What the hell? Okay, wrong. Every coroutine gets his own balance of 1,000. Async defined withdraw name and all that stuff. Okay, so correct. Balance lives in main, shared across all coroutines. So we go to main and then async defined withdraw non-local balance, reach up and grab balance. Okay, I haven't heard of the non-local keyword, so that's on me, I think. Wrong. Balance minus equals to amount and balance is greater than. Requesting the print. Okay, so it's async with lock. Requesting amount, do the actual work here. All right. So we got a few mistakes. First mistake is that this is not supposed to be there. Instead, this is supposed to be here. And then when we request our amount must be going above our async's lock. So I first request an amount and then I add a lock. And then later on, every single withdrawal does not really get their own $1,000 as balance. Rather, we have $1,000 in our main function, and then we just go ahead and subtract it from here. This is going to be non-local balance. This is going to be non-local balance. No? How did the non-local balance part work? Let me check the reference again. Okay, so we need to go with non-local, so define balance. Reach up and grab mains is balance. Reach up, so does this mean my withdraw needs to go below my main? I mean, I have heard people actually say that the main function goes above everything else. I used to do that as well. Okay, fine, I guess. Let's give it a shot. Non-local. Something ain't right. We have non-local balance, and then we're gonna go ahead. Okay, the non-local balance part was not adding up here. Maybe I'm gonna go ahead and paste it and say, I did not understand the non-local part here because I haven't used the non-local keyword. Okay, I guess we're thinking. Good question. Let me explain non-local properly first. What is non-local? When a function is inside another function, it can't modify the outer functions as variables by default. That's not going to be indented, is it? Okay, and then we define main, non-local balance, and then I see. Okay. I get access to my balance here. All right. Why do I have a red underline? Guys, for some reason the red underline is not going well with me here. Non-local balance minus equals to 400. But your setup is different. Okay. Withdraw, return the updated balance. Your withdraw is outside the main function, so non-local won't work. You have two clean options. Option 1, pass the balance in return. Option 2, use dictionary. Okay. Already mic testing. Guys, my PC actually crashed up here. Hold on. Let me just go ahead and move on everything back here. Exit all those ads. Guys, it's so annoying when my PC crashes once every while. It has decreased a lot, the crashes. I'm gonna exit all that stuff. Okay, so where was I? I'm gonna open my Visual Studio Code again. Okay, it ruins the whole flow once the PC crashes. There we go. Okay, so where was I again? I was supposed to return something, right? Okay, so non-local. So I want to use the balanced one, and you withdraw after the main function. Okay, structure flows. So we withdraw first. Okay, and then we have an account as well. Account equals to balance, which is going to be equal to 1000. Okay, so we basically require those things and an account function. I mean, an account parameter. Okay, and whenever we're going to be displaying our balance, it's going to be our accounts, right? So this is going to be account. There we go. Account at index of balance. There we go. And then this is going to be account at index of balance again. Okay, and then we're going to be up here. Your cam is really bright. Oh, guys, that's sometimes because of the sunlight. Hold on, let me fix it real quick. I'm going to go to properties, configure video. There we go. Guys, that sometimes gets so annoying. Like, I can't really look at my webcam while reading instructions. Looks like you're from a white room, guys. It does make sense. It does look like I'm kind of radioactive because of the sunlight. Because my window is basically up here. When the clouds are covering the sun, my webcam is not nearly as bright. But when the clouds start covering the sun, my webcam gets way too dark. I need to find something that can auto configure my camera. That said, where was I again? Accounts at index of balance. And then in our main function, we have an accounts as variable or an accounts as dictionary that is going to go ahead and require a key and value pair where this is going to be my balance and the value is going to be 1000. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to go ahead and add our accounts as parameter. Well, add our accounts as parameter here. We're going to have an account. We're going to have an account and we're going to go ahead and have an account. Let's hit Control S, Control Alt N. Withdraw is not defined. Name error. I literally defined it up here. You know what? I get it. Just copy this. Unlike C++, unlike C++, we don't declare it. Let's get it up there. C coroutine function. Okay, Alice requesting and all that stuff on local bounds is error. You could write a program from this problem. It would be fun learning project also. That actually does make sense. I'm actually going to be working on the rest, let's say 6 or 7 so questions in next stream. Probably, hopefully I'm going to be done with async IO and start type hinting next stream. But let me say something like, I made another mistake. Okay, because here's the thing about like actually learning these topics. I can't really pressure new topics. I gotta practice much with this, but before that, I need to record a video as well. Mistake 1: you're using balance instead of okay. All right. Let's go with something like if my account at index of balance, and then this is going to be account at index of balance. Oh my gosh, this is going to be quotes. Guys, is this just exhaustion? What the hell? Okay, and then we have all accounts. That is going to be amount, yada yada. Control S, Control Alt N. Requesting. And then type error, set object is not subscriptable. Okay, I guess let's go up there. Balance, okay. Comma, dot set colon, 1 character. Did I really add a comma? You're kidding me, guys. Isn't this the very basics? Okay, I am sort of exhausted, so it does make sense. There we go. Alice requesting. Alice withdrew 400 bucks, and then Bob withdrew 400 bucks. Charlie insufficient funds. All right, the logic was correct. There were silly mistakes here. The basic mistakes. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and paste this here, and let's say done. I think that I made those mistakes because I was off exhausted. Therefore, I may continue the remaining questions next stream. Okay, and then let's go ahead and send it real quick. And I'll have to make a transfer prompt as well. One tiny syntax error. It did work. Okay. Alright, okay. Single quotes. Okay, it does make sense. That said, let's go ahead and move on to my main camera. There we go. Alright guys, so basically that was pretty much it for the stream. I would have gone a bit longer, but I do gotta record a video as well, and I can't really get too exhausted. That said, because if I do get too exhausted and I start working on new concepts, I won't really understand much. That said, if you guys did enjoy the stream, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe with the notifications bell turned on, and also share this stream or my channel in general if you guys do enjoy it. Because like helps my algorithm, sharing makes you smart, subscribing will get you on top. That's it. I will start multi-streaming on Twitch and take once I get a better graphics card, which I am going to get relatively sooner, guys. Trust me, I will get it. That said, I will be also streaming on Instagram and TikTok if I did meet the followers requirements. If you guys will enjoy my content and haven't followed me there, make sure to follow me there. The link is going to be in the description. The link is going to be in the bio. You guys can get access to my socials in general by typing exclamation and the socials' name, all lowercase. If my social does exist, a link will pop up within 3 to 4 seconds. If my social does not exist, a link will not pop up. That said, also join the Discord server. That's where I usually talk to you guys, chat with you guys, have general conversation with you guys. And if you guys do wanna join me alongside my 365 days or AI engineering for 365 days series, and you guys want to follow the roadmap that I'm currently following as well, you guys can join the Discord server and either go to the Coding Hamsters chat or the Python chat and mention my name there at WebUniverse and ask me for the roadmap. I will personally DM it to you guys. The link is going to be in the description. The link is going to be in the bio, and you guys can get access to my Discord server by typing exclamation Discord, all lowercase on chat. That's it. I'll follow you up. I'll follow up on your channel in the future for sure. That actually sounds awesome. Bye. I'll catch you next stream. Jatin, is that your pronounce your name? And also, I'll catch you guys next live stream or video. Peace. And guys, my name pronunciations are awful. I gotta work on that. That's it. That's on the stream.